Good evening and welcome. I'll call this meeting to order. Before we continue, it's proposed that I, Robert Surjanic, be the presiding officer until a chair is elected. Is there any opposition? Thank you. I'll now read out the land acknowledgement. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories in which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms a part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississauga peoples, and the treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. I'd like to ask trustees now if there's any declarations of interest. Seeing none. Now I'll take a motion to approve the agenda. Trustee Edwards. Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. We'll now move on to recommended actions, election of the chair. Once the chair is elected, they'll take over the role of presiding officer for the remainder of the meeting. I'll be asking for nominations, but before doing so, I'd like to note the following. When two or more trustees are nominated and agree to stand, each shall be given an opportunity to speak to their candidacy, and then voting shall begin using the confidential polling system. I'll now open nominations for the position of chair of the Violence in Schools Ad Hoc Committee. Trustee Morton.
I recommend that I put forward the motion that Deb Oldfield would chair this committee.
Thank you, Trustee Morton. Trustee Oldfield, will you accept the nomination?
I do, with thanks to my nominator.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? I'll make that call again. Are there any further nominations? And last time, are there any further nominations? Seeing none, I'll declare nominations closed. Congratulations, Trustee Oldfield. And I'll call for a brief 2-minute recess so that we can have Trustee Oldfield in the chair's chair.
Thank you, and we're returning, and I thank trustees for electing me to the position of chair. And we'll now proceed with the election of the vice chair of this committee. I'll be asking for nominations, but before doing so, I'd like to note the following, that when two or more trustees are nominated and agree to stand, each shall be given an opportunity to speak to their candidacy, and then voting shall begin using the confidential polling system. I'll now open nominations for the position of Vice Chair of the Violence in Schools Ad Hoc Committee. Trustee Edwards?
Yes, we had a written request from trustee Shailene Pinello to nominate herself as vice chair of the committee at the meeting, even though she couldn't attend tonight, but she requested that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We accept Trustee Pinello's nomination that was submitted in writing. Are there any other further nominations? Second time, are there any further nominations? And third and final, are there any further nominations? Okay, seeing none, Trustee Pinello is acclaimed. Congratulations, Trustee Pinello. Okay, next on the agenda. We're moving to the formation of the Violence in Schools Ad Hoc Committee. Trustee Thatcher?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. With respect to the Section 4.0 in the report that was part of our package tonight, under analysis, it is suggested that the board has the option to develop a broader terms of reference that provides more clarity to the scope and undertaking of this committee. And with respect to the fact that this is such a broad topic, developing terms of reference would permit us to prioritize our concerns. So I'd like to, with that in mind, I'd like to put forward the following motion. That the director, I move that the Director of Education work with the Chair and Vice Chair of the committee on proposed revised terms of reference to come forward to the Board of Trustees for consideration. I submit that, Chair.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Our committee.
I don't need. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Can we have the motion read back, please?
That the Director of Education work with the Chair and Vice Chair of the committee on proposed revised terms of reference to come forward to the Board of Trustees for consideration.
Okay. Any discussion? Trustee Edwards?
I agree with that recommendation, because one of the difficulties I had was actually understanding what the mandate of this committee, because it's so broad, and what the outcomes, because a committee should have some sort of determining of what the outcomes, what we're expecting the outcomes to be. So I agree with that recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, go to a vote. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. That's carried. Any other business? Seeing none. Do I need a motion to adjourn on a committee? Sorry.
Next meeting date?
Oh, sorry, next meeting date. Sorry. Yeah, so it would seem that the next meeting date would be dependent on the director and the chair and vice chair getting together to come up with the terms of reference. So we'll have to leave that open at this point, and then when we're ready with the terms of reference, we can advise and set a date. Okay. As business is concluded? Sorry. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.